Welcome to your daily December download, and let's talk about Sonic's voice. It's kind of a known topic that Sonic's voice is incredibly contentious in the Sonic community. Depending on who you talk to, Sonic's voice peaked in the 2000s. Sonic's voice hasn't been good since Ryan in the late 90s. Some people will say that Sonic's voice has never been good, or his voice isn't compared to Jaleel. And the reason why this is because there's so many Sonic voices at this point that if you grew up with one, you're probably going to prefer that one. But the one you grew up with probably isn't still voicing Sonic to this day. And now we're in a part where there's actually 3 current voices for Sonic. Ben Schwartz is in the movie, Roger Craig Smith is in the games, and Devin Mack is in Sonic Prime. So we have 3 different voices all running around at the exact same time, voicing the exact same character. Well, not the exact same character, but the same character. But and that's good for variety's sake. But this is also going to cause more problems in the future than we already have right now, because we already have more. Because I think there's a certain level of care or vitriol that some people have towards the voice cast of this franchise that is completely unearned after a certain period of time. I think it's like there are people who really do not like Roger Craig Smith, which is fine. You can have the opinion that you do not like Roger Craig Smith. He ain't my GOAT either. I actually like Jason more. Jason's my favorite Sonic voice. But I feel like I have a little bit more of a general like neutrality stance of like hard preference of like, oh, this dude's voice hurts my ears. It's like I have a general like neutral stance on that. Is probably because when I got into Sonic, those like all 3 voices existed at the exact same time. Well, not the exact same time, but like Ryan, Jason, and Roger all existed. It wasn't just Jason and Ryan. It was Ryan, Jason, and Roger was new. And while I did have my preference for Jason, I didn't hate Roger at all. And it's like, because technically he is a Sonic I grew up with. So I do not have any beef with his voice at all. Well, I do have beef with certain things, like certain things about his voice, but I think that his voice is generally fine or good enough for Sonic, and it doesn't bother me actively like it does for some other people. And the reason why I say that it's kind of unnecessary to be this invested after a certain point is because Roger has been voicing Sonic since 2010. It is 2023 going on 2024. He has been voicing Sonic for 13 to 14 years. That is a long time. So long that at this point, he is the longest running voice of Sonic, being one of the only voice actors to beat out Jaleel White in terms of time. He has had a longer run as Sonic than Ryan and Jason had as Sonic combined. If you don't know, Ryan started voicing Sonic in 1999, because that was the release date of Sonic Adventure in America, if I remember correctly. So he started voicing Sonic in 1999, and then Jason last voiced Sonic with new lines and everything in 2009. That is 10 years shared between 2 voice actors, and Roger has outlived both of them. After a certain point, it's kind of weird to say he doesn't sound like Sonic when he is the only Sonic voice that has stuck around. Maybe that's what the creators of the series currently want Sonic to sound like. Now, you don't have to like it. Again, you can have your criticisms and everything, but to be so pissy about it, to bring it up every time you get the chance about, oh, I hate the voice cast, oh, I hate Roger, after a certain point, you're just being weird, especially if you're grown. Because if you think about it, someone who maybe got into Sonic when they were 5 years old, alright, 5 years old, in like 2010, has possibly, very possibly, like, had Roger as the main voice of Sonic their their entire Sonic fandom, and they are now like 13 plus 5. Do the math with me. 18. They are grown now. Imagine that. That's crazy, right? Like, we can't deny this. That is insane. You can be, he's in the voice so long that someone could have gone through their whole school career. The length of you going from kindergarten to high school is the length this man has been voicing this character. It's too late to complain. And they just signed a new contract. He's probably going to be voicing Sonic for at least 5 more years. It's like, at this point, it's like, hey, you just got to accept certain things. It's like, and some people go like, oh, people are allowed to have their opinions. If you don't complain, things don't change. But at this point, just changing it would actually cause more problems. It bothers you specifically, like a group of people that like Sonic doesn't sound like he did in the other. But it's like people try to say like, oh well, you know, it's the closest to Junichi. Shut up, you don't care, all right? you don't care that deeply, all right? Because if you care that deeply, you would just play the games in Japanese. If you really just want the original sounding voice cast, just play it in Japanese. If you care that much, don't even talk about the English dub. Because you shouldn't care if the Japanese is your preference. So let's just rest that to bed very quick. And then so with the voices, specifically Sonic, because Sonic's the biggest deal. You know, he's the one in all the media, and he's the one with the highest amount of contention behind it. If the man has been voicing the character for 13 years, longer than some people who are fans of this franchise have been alive, maybe it's time to let go that hate boner, you know? Maybe it's time to put down the pitchfork. Maybe it's time to go home, touch some grass, you know, kiss your wife, talk to your kids, or something. Like, you cannot care that much. It's not reasonable. There's a certain amount of care you should have for a franchise, and someone being the main character for 13 years is not one of them. Again, you can have your criticisms, you can have your opinions, but you don't need to shove them down everyone's throat and complain about it every single chance you get, or make it like a whole statement of like, they need to fire this man because I don't like the voice. And it's like, you're grown, dude. You're grown. Shut up. You're a grown man. Calm down. If it bothers you that much, play it in a different language. Sorry if this sounds dismissive to those who are really passionate about the voice cast of a Sonic game, but honestly, the older I get, the more I realize all the stupid, shitty arguments we have about this franchise are not worth the time of day when the franchise has bigger problems than whether Sonic sounds like he did 13 years ago. Sometimes it's okay to let go. That's my final stance on it. Alright, see you guys tomorrow.